In this video, we're going to learn how to solve equations, and we'll learn the order in which we should take steps to solve an equation, depending on whether there's a fraction or different variables or brackets, and so on. So when we're solving equations, the first thing we need to look at is to find out whether there are fractions. So if there are fractions, we're going to multiply everything by the denominator to remove the fraction and make it much easier to solve. Then, once that's done, we'll multiply to get rid of brackets. So we'll use distributive property to get rid of the brackets. And then we'll look and combine our like terms, if necessary. Then we'll perform any additions and subtractions to help isolate our terms and move them to the correct side. And then finally, we'll do multiplication and division to solve for the particular variable, whether it's x or y or whatever the variable is. So here's our first example. We have 6 equals 1/3 times 8 plus x in brackets. Now another way we could write that is to write 6 equals 8 plus x all over 3. So this is another way of demonstrating that fraction. Remember, a fraction could be, the denominator is a dividing sign. So to get rid of the denominator of 3, we can times this whole side by 3. But then whatever we do to the right side, we have to do to the left side. So we're going to times the other side by 3. So these will cancel out. So that's going to work out to be 18 equals 8 plus x. Now we can start moving over things by addition and subtraction. We don't have a bracket anymore. So to get rid of the positive 8 on this side, we need to do the opposite operation. So we're going to subtract 8. We're going to subtract 8 from over here. So that's going to be 10 equals x. So that's how you solve this one. So here's another one. 3 times y minus 5 over 4 equals 7. So we can write it like this as well. So the 3 times y minus 5 is all over 4. So now we need to times everything by 4 to get rid of that denominator. So this will cancel out, and then 7 times 4 is equal to 28. So we have 3 times y minus 5 equals 28. Now we need to multiply by distributive property. So we have to multiply everything inside the bracket by 3. So it's going to be 3y minus 15 equals 28. Now we need to move the 15 over to the other side. So to do that, we would add 15 because it's a negative, the opposite operation. So these will cancel out. Now we're going to add 15 over here. So that's going to be 43. So 3y equals 43. Now we need to isolate y. So we're going to divide that by 3. Divide this side by 3. So these will cancel. So y is going to equal, and we can leave this in fraction form or we can actually solve it. We'll have a decimal though. So y equals 14.3. So sometimes there'll be fractions on both sides of the equal sign, and in those cases we need to cross multiply. So before we go ahead and do that, we need to put the numerators, the k plus 2 and the k minus 4 in brackets. So the 5 is going to multiply to this side and the 3 is going to multiply to that side. So it's going to equal 5 times k plus 2 equals 3 times k minus 4. Now we need to multiply by distributive property to get rid of the brackets. So 5 times k is 5k. 5 times positive 2 is plus 10. That's going to equal 3 times k. So 3k minus 12. Now we need to move things over. So the best thing to do is look and find which variable is bigger. So we have 5k on the left side and only 3k on the other side. So to be able to subtract, we want to subtract the smaller one. So the smaller one is 3k. So we're going to minus 3k on both sides. 3k. So those will cancel out. So now it's going to be 2k plus 10 equals negative 12. So now we need to get rid of the 10, so 2k can be by itself. So plus 10, the opposite operation is minus 10. We need a minus 10. So 2k equals negative 22. And now we need to divide by 2 on both sides to get k by itself. So k equals negative 11. So sometimes we won't have fractions, we'll have more simple equations, but we can still use those same rules. So we've got, if we had this one, 3x plus 2 equals 2x minus 4. We don't have fractions, so we can ignore that. And we don't have brackets, so we can ignore that. Now we just solve by collecting the like terms and then solving. So if we look here, we've got 3x on the left side and 2x on the right side. So we want to subtract the 2x to get a positive x value. So minus 2x minus 2x. These will cancel out. So we have x plus 2 equals negative 4. Now we need to move the plus 2 to the other side. So negative 2, negative 2. So x equals negative 6. And then we can solve some equations that have brackets. So we have 5 times y minus 3 minus y minus 2 equals 19. So now we need to multiply by using the distributive property to get rid of the brackets. There are no fractions, so we can skip that part. So 5 times y is 5y. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Now, our next part here, we have a minus sign outside a bracket. We have to remember that that actually means minus 1. So minus 1 times y would be negative y. Minus 1 times negative 2 would be actually positive 2 equals 19. So now we can gather some like terms. We have 5y minus y, so that would be 4y. Then negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13 equals 19. So now we need to bring the negative 13 over to the right side. So we're going to add 13. We're going to add 13. So that's 32. Those cancel out. So 4y equals 32. So to get rid of that, we'll divide that by 4. Divide this by 4. So y equals 8. So that's how you solve using the steps for solving equations.